Namaste, beautiful beings. This is Belinda Pearl, and welcome to Woven We Are's Cosmic Channel. So here I'm going to be offering some astrological insights, maybe some esoteric tips, as well as some oracular divination, just kind of divining the future, and not future, I would say, divining the moment. So helping us see how we can navigate our way into our future and hopefully navigate our way a little bit more consciously as well. So these sessions will be a little bit of energy, a little bit of guidance, like just channeled guidance too. That's what I like to allow to come through. I like to do this sort of like on the whim and just see what flows through instead of thinking about how am I going to edit that. It's just pure guidance, the most authentic way for you. So let us start with what's going on in the sky so that we can get a big picture, or a clear picture of what's going on. So we heading towards Mercury Retrograde next week around the 13th, 14th. Mercury goes into retrograde. When the planet's in retrograde, the energy is far more intense. You're going to feel that energy, and you may be noticing already, because there's a pre-shadow and a post-shadow, that some of the little appliances have been going out for sure. I've noticed that at my home as well, with some of the things that are just like not working so well, from printers to vacuum cleaners. It can be as simple as that. I always bless my computers with some Sanskrit mantras to keep it protected during these times, and use a lot of crystals around them too to keep them happy. I don't try and organize any kind of event during Mercury retrograde, because I've done it before and it didn't quite work out well. Like every week we met, there was some kind of weird technical thing. So you may notice that going on, and it will get a little bit more extreme as well with this. Actually, with everything we're going through, to some Mercury's going into retrograde. Pluto's just come out of retrograde. The Pluto moves really slowly, so he's going to be still in the sky at 22 degrees for a really long time. But I think it's today actually, that Pluto and Mars square, a square type of energy. I always like to say it's like an elbow in your side. It's somebody that's not quite your friend. Like I used to do track athletics. I mean, we used to run that like 800, I call it the sprint. And the ladies would come in and everybody would run with their elbows like this, trying to get like space around you. It's kind of like that kind of energy. But this is like you feeling that you need to get to the front of the race, that you need to get out there. But it's also, there's this old paradigm that's wanting to break, but it doesn't want to break too. So there's this lot of inner struggle, like what side of the bridge are you supposed to stand on? What, we're talking about vote and where you're supposed to vote. Like what's this moral dilemma that we're in as well. And that's actually an interesting word, because before this I did a breathwork experience with some ladies, and I pulled from a deck that I don't normally read with, and I had this deck for over 20 years, and the card that I pulled out was about morality, and it was very like grim, the feeling. So my natural state is to try, how do I correct that feeling of grimness? And so I went for a different card, a different deck, to get something a little bit more blossoming. But it was also kind of dark, but it showed a different imagery of it. It was like a night sky with stars in it. So even though it was kind of dark, indigo blue, there was still this like lightness of the stars shining through. So there was this potential energy. And I think actually that's what the card said. Even in the state that we're in, if we look at the world, we're in the state that this potential energy to actually do something fantastic. Or maybe we've been feeling held to go back to what is the old way. Maybe the old way is just, it worked that way, even though most of us know that it wasn't working. And some of us in this experience are finding something new, something that is blossoming from inside of you, a new part of your being. Your soul's always been there, but it's a new part that you're discovering. So there's a newness that's rising. And if we have time, I'll show you the cards that came to our as well for that particular reading that I did. I had them still out, and at the end of the breathwork session I told the ladies about the cards that I pulled, and I showed them, but I pulled out a new card just to see. And it was interesting because the new card was about lightning, but it looked exactly like the potential card, with this indigo blue night, and then this light that was shiny, but it was getting more powerful. And it's reminding me of like we're in this new photon belt. We're receiving new like light codes, as in the new age people would like to say. But if you think about like new information, looking at the stars, the central sun from a different perspective, it's like you change your trajectory on one thing and you get like kind of a feeling but then you change your trajectory there. And I can tell you a quick story too about that, and you get a different feeling. Like one day my husband decided it was a good idea that we go do jump out of an airplane, a parachute, right? Did that down somewhere in San Diego, and that's not my thing. I don't want to do that. But we got up in the airplane and I was there and everybody jumped out and I was like, I couldn't do this. And the guy was like, let's just move forward, and we did. And we looked at the ground and I was like, I don't think I can jump out. But then he told the guy to change the airplane, just move it around. But it was like the landscape underneath changed. And it was like weird. I was like, oh, now I can do it because the landscape appeared different. And so I'm telling this, I'm sharing this with you. It's a little bit of shamanic work here, I guess, is that, you know, we tell through these stories that there's a different perspective that's ready to be seen. And we're on this place, this path, this choice, this opportunity, this potential inside of us that wants to rise up. This old paradigm is breaking. So let's do this. I'm going to take from what I call like more of a happier deck than the other one. Maybe I'll pull from the deck that I don't normally like to read from. And this is just an energy that I've held with it since I first got it in my teens, I guess. So let's see what guidance has for us today. So I'm just shuffling the deck here. I like to give it a good shuffle if I've used it. Even if it's just for, you know, not me picking up on the cards. I like to shuffle it so I can get our energy in it for this particular transmission as well. And then I say I feel the energy is ready. So I always just wait. So this is like what I do. I'm just waiting. I'm not doing this by my mind. I'm doing this by feeling and sensing. And I can feel when guidance comes in, it's really clear. Sometimes I don't think it's clear when I look at the card because that's funny. And this is interesting. It says patience. So maybe this is the thing like we all need, like in the medicinally, like we shouldn't be rushing. With the Mercury retrograde, it is about slowing down. It's about reviewing, revising. Also, this reminds me, like don't know exactly what bird this is, but it's like a stork, if you will. Like it has this feeling. It reminds me actually of a bird in like Africa. But it reminds me of that stork-like feeling. Like there's a delivery of something that's coming. But there's also this full moon energy. So we've just had a full moon. We're moving towards a new moon. So maybe there's a cycle that we need to move through. Something that we're gleaming, something that has bringing a deeper understanding as well. And I think that the next full moon will be in, actually, we have a blue moon in October. So it could be in Gemini. I'm not quite exactly sure. But I think that would be, no, not in Gemini. I'm forgetting. But it's moving through. So we just had Aries, so it would be in Taurus. There we go. Maybe again what we're valuing. I could be wrong on my moons. Forgive me. But we're going to this cycle, right? We're going through something that's new. Something is bringing. Take our time. So I'm going to show you this card that I picked before. It was morality. And you see how dim this is. We've been going through this for a really long time. This change that needs to be in effect. It's not fast food. It takes time. We got to break down the old karmas. We got to break down all the things that we've done before. If you have a dis-ease in your body, it takes time for the medicine, especially if you're doing homeopathy or Ayurveda or something natural. It takes time for it to work. Even energy medicine, it takes time. So we need patience in this. And then they showed me this too, and I'll hold these up separately. This is the card that I pulled first because I was, you know, upset that I got a morality card that looked like that. So this is me trying to correct the energy, trying to see what it is that guidance is showing me so I can get out of my ego mind a bit. And it showed me this indigo blue sky, and it says potential at the bottom here. There's light that wants to come through. At the end of the session, this is what we got, which says power, and it's lightning. And then it reminded me of this new photon energy light coming through that is coming through for us. It's actually an upgrading. So I'm going to take for this reading to go with this patience from the deck that is not really my favorite to read with. Again, it's just a personal feeling with the deck and the energy. Nothing against it. Like I said, I think it's from when I was a kid when I got this deck, and I learned to read with tarot, so and the traditional tarot as well. But these were like the more sort of modern cards coming through, and so maybe I was inspired to feel something different. When I got this, felt a little different to what I was expecting it to be. So let me see what guidance has for us today. Oh, and that card definitely. And so this one is beautiful. Actually, it says healing. So through our patience comes healing. And this is Chiron too. Chiron in Aries. There's something great with Chiron in Aries. If you have Chiron in your Aries, I have Chiron in my Aries. And I like this idea that Gandhi also had Chiron in his Aries, and so did Martin Luther King had Chiron in his Aries. So there's something about this energy of Aries, this rebirthing, that we need to really stand into this place of our power and see this. It's almost like the brown is here, like it's the blue pieces are getting bigger. This is not really blue, but it feels blue in this imagery. And I look at it, the wings, the shading, and it's like this healing that's coming. It's actually, the arms aren't really this brown either, but it looks like it when I look at this in the video. It's quite amazing. But the heart, which I've been talking about this week, about this time when so I was meditating on somebody's physical heart, or their energetic heart actually, and what I saw was a sphere appear in front of their heart center that was shaped like, it was 3D. It was the flower of life, like an orb of the flower of life. So this just is interesting that this is coming up too in this reading. And there's so much about heart healing that is needed. I've been watching this through all the oracles, through all the guidance that's been coming through. I've been documenting all the guidance and the astrology, and it's simply amazing just to watch and see. It's an open book for us to reveal our next story, how we want to move in. We're also at this time of making the right choices, making the right choice for you. What is it? Where do you want to go? How do you want to flourish? Where is it that we're going into next? How do you want to stand in our power? Which is this, standing in our power, the light is coming through. All right, I'm going to leave it at that. Hopefully that all made sense. Again, this is Belinda Pearl, and this is for Woven We Are. This is your cosmic guiding channel, and I look forward to seeing you all again next week. Again, from my heart to yours, may you always be blessed. Namaste. And you can find me at belindapearl.com. And again, check back next week and leave a comment below, subscribe, wherever you see this video. I look forward to seeing you all again soon. Namaste.